ever had one of those dreams you just don't want to wake up from? You know the ones. Well, I'm having one now. I'm Steve McQueen, it's 1966, and I've just won Le Mans. And I don't even care about getting the girl, because the car I'm driving is better than sex.
This is the Ford GT supercar.
Some cars will rip up the street. This will drag your house with it. Children mutate when you drive past. It's just ridiculous.
Ford built the car to celebrate their 100th anniversary and as a tribute to their glory days of motor racing. But you know what? This thing is actually a race car built for the road.
But when they said road, they didn't say which one. See, a bit over 40 years ago, Ford and Ferrari had a huge ruck because Henry Ford thought the Italians had welched on a business deal. So Henry decides, as you do, to get his own back by building a supercar to stuff them at Le Mans. And he did, 4 years in a row.
So while some car companies are struggling to see a future, Ford is looking to the past to rekindle some of their glory. This retro refit is a reproduction of the original GT40 with some important changes. It's a bit wider, a tiny bit taller, 43 inches, not 40, and it's more powerful as well. Kind of like a GT40 on steroids. And there's something unique about this particular car, a characteristic faithful to the original.
The thing about this GT is it's special. Look where I'm sitting, right-hand drive. This is the first right-hand drive Ford GT in the world.
This latter-day GT40 is model number RHD 001, the first of only a handful of right-hookers being built.
Until recently, the chances of seeing one of these things on an Australian road, well, was about as likely as getting a big cheque from the ATO.
And it'll want to be a pretty big check if you're going to put it towards buying this particular model. The thick end of $500,000.
This thing is an absolute hornbox. It's styled just as you would imagine. In fact, there's only one thing I don't like about the styling. When you're driving it, you can't see it.
No wonder it's good looking. This car isn't actually an American design. Ford went to Lola in the UK for that.
So what's the catch? Well, to be honest, I reckon it's good value at any money because it's just such an experience. But if I had to really fess up, I'd have to say, well, I'm sick of decapitating myself shutting the door like this. Honestly, it's like going to the guillotine every time you get in the car.
You'd expect to find this car white with the blue Cobra stripes. But in this black colour scheme, well, it's just plain menacing. The car hasn't got curves, it's got loins. The gaping vents and intakes look like they'd suck a small dog clear off the road and blow it out the exhaust pipes. And on the inside, well, they've really stuck to the original script. All the gauges, the toggle switches, all faithful to the original 60s design. All very Thunderbirds. And of course, that all-important badge. Number 1 right-hand drive in the world. And that's very nice. But for me, it's all about the horses. And 001 has 850 of them.
It just means it's got the most ridiculous squirt you've ever seen. More than 800 horse. Oh, God! This thing goes so fast, it's faster than the speed of light. I'm going to get to the end of the circuit yesterday.
was so unbelievable, I had to try it again. This thing spins the wheels in every gear. 120, 130, 150, 160, 180, 200, 210, 220, 240, dear me. But away from the track and back on the road where it's meant to be, I'm back to that Steve McQueen thing all over again. When I wake up from my dream, I have to think, I really do like driving it. It's actually pretty easy. I mean, you could launch yourself into space if you weren't careful with this little pedal here on the right-hand side. So don't lend it to your wife to take it shopping. That's very sexist, you're not supposed to say lend it to your wife. Don't lend it to your mates. With a car like this, you don't need mates. With a car like this, you don't need a wife.